In the heart of the galaxy, nestled within the sprawling Andromeda cluster, lay the planet of Zilithara. A world of towering crystal spires and verdant jungles, Zilithara was a place of breathtaking beauty. But beneath its surface of shimmering elegance, there simmered a society bound by traditions as rigid as the diamond cliffs that bordered its continents. Leora was born into this world of stark contrasts. From a young age, she sensed a dissonance between the vibrant life around her and the suffocating expectations imposed upon her. In Zilitharan society, women were expected to be demure, obedient, and above all, fertile. To be anything less was to be less than a woman, less than a citizen, less than human. Leora's mother, a paragon of Zilitharan womanhood, had always insisted on conformity. "We are the keepers of life," she would say, her voice a blend of pride and warning. "Our value lies in our ability to nurture and sustain our lineage." These words, meant to inspire reverence for tradition, only served to kindle a rebellious spark within Leora. She dreamed of more of a life unshackled by her gender, her potential defined by her own choices rather than her biological functions. Leora's defiance did not go unnoticed. Her frequent absences from the communal fertility rituals and her outspoken criticism of the elders' decrees soon branded her as a misfit. Whispers followed her in the market squares, and eyes, once warm, now regarded her with suspicion and disdain. But it was her family's betrayal that delivered the deepest cut. One evening, as the twin moons of Zilithara bathed the world in an ethereal glow, Leora overheard a conversation that would change her life forever. Hidden behind the ornate tapestry that separated the family's quarters from the main hall, she listened in horror as her parents spoke with the elders. "She's infertile," her father declared, his voice steady but devoid of emotion. "We have done all we can, but she will never bear children." Leora's breath caught in her throat. Infertile? The word echoed in her mind, a cruel indictment of her very existence. She knew it was a lie, a fabrication designed to explain away her nonconformity and to save her family from further disgrace. Yet it was a lie that would seal her fate. The elders nodded solemnly, their expressions a mix of pity and judgment. "Then she must be cast out," one of them intoned. "For the good of our community, she cannot remain among us." That night, Leora's parents confronted her, their faces masks of resigned sorrow. "It is for the best," her mother said, avoiding Leora's eyes. "You have always been different, Leora. This is the only way." Cast out from her family and community, Leora found herself adrift in a world that had turned its back on her. The vibrant streets of her childhood, once filled with laughter and camaraderie, now seemed hostile and alien. She wandered through the crystal forests, seeking solace in the ancient trees whose whispered secrets offered no answers. Her isolation was profound. Those who had once been friends now avoided her, their eyes filled with the same pity and judgment she had seen in the elders. The few who dared speak to her did so with a forced kindness that only deepened her sense of alienation. She was a ghost, a living reminder of the price of defiance in a society that prized conformity above all else. Yet, within the depths of her loneliness, Leora's resilience began to take root. She found solace in solitude, drawing strength from the very isolation that had been meant to break her. She spent hours in the forests, studying the flora and fauna, her keen mind absorbing the intricate web of life that thrived away from the prying eyes of society. Her defiance had cost her dearly, but it had also freed her from the suffocating expectations of her people. Cast out from her family and community, Leora found herself adrift in a world that had turned its back on her. The vibrant streets of her childhood, once filled with laughter and camaraderie, now seemed hostile and alien. She wandered through the crystal forests, seeking solace in the ancient trees whose whispered secrets offered no answers. Her isolation was profound. Those who had once been friends now avoided her, their eyes filled with the same pity and judgment she had seen in the elders. The few who dared speak to her did so with a forced kindness that only deepened her sense of alienation. She was a ghost, a living reminder of the price of defiance in a society that prized conformity above all else. Yet, within the depths of her loneliness, Leora's resilience began to take root. She found solace in solitude, drawing strength from the very isolation that had been meant to break her. She spent hours in the forests, studying the flora and fauna, her keen mind absorbing the intricate web of life that thrived away from the prying eyes of society. Her defiance had cost her dearly, but it had also freed her from the suffocating expectations of her people. The dusky twilight of Leora's world cast long shadows across the barren, rocky landscape. As the 3 moons rose, their pale light filtered through the skeletal trees, casting an ethereal glow on the ground. Leora, an outcast in her own world, wandered the outskirts of her village, her mind a turbulent sea of thoughts and emotions. Her people's cruel judgment weighed heavily on her, yet she clung to a spark of defiance that refused to be extinguished. Amidst the twilight, a human ship descended, its sleek metal hull glinting in the moonlight. It was a rare sight, one that piqued Leora's curiosity despite her better judgment. She had heard tales of these visitors from distant stars, their mysterious missions, and advanced technology. What business could they possibly have on her forsaken planet? Hidden behind a rocky outcrop, Leora watched as the ship landed with a soft hiss. The hatch opened, and a man stepped out. His presence was imposing yet not threatening. He moved with a purpose, scanning the surroundings with a device she had never seen before. There was a glint of curiosity and intelligence in his eyes, a stark contrast to the apathetic stares she was used to. Leora's curiosity got the better of her. She stepped out from her hiding place, her heart pounding in her chest. The man turned, their eyes locking in a moment that felt suspended in time. "Who are you?" Leora's voice was barely above a whisper, a mix of fear and intrigue. The man smiled, a gesture so warm it seemed out of place in her cold world. "My name is David. I'm an explorer from Earth. And you?" "I'm Leora," she replied, her voice gaining strength. "What are you doing here?" David explained his mission: an exploration of planets on the fringes of known space, a quest for knowledge and understanding of different cultures. As he spoke, Leora felt an unfamiliar sensation stirring within her, a sense of being seen, truly seen, for the first time. Days turned into weeks as David and Leora spent more time together. They wandered the rugged terrain, sharing stories and learning from each other. David was fascinated by Leora's knowledge of her planet's flora and fauna, her sharp mind, and her hidden strength. He saw in her what her own people were blind to: an unyielding spirit and a fierce intelligence. One evening, as they sat by a crackling fire, David turned to Leora with a serious expression. "You have so much potential, Leora. Why do your people treat you this way?" Leora sighed, the weight of her society's prejudices heavy on her shoulders. "In my world, women are expected to conform to strict roles, and those who are believed to be infertile, like me, are considered worthless. My family spread that lie to justify their rejection of me." David's eyes hardened with resolve. "You are not worthless, Leora. You are strong, intelligent, and capable of so much more. You deserve to be seen for who you truly are." His words struck a chord deep within her. For so long, she had internalized her society's cruel judgments, but here was someone who saw her differently. A spark of hope ignited in her heart, growing stronger with each passing day. As they ventured further into the wilderness, David taught Leora about his world, the advancements, and the freedoms that seemed like a distant dream to her. He showed her how to use his advanced tools and gadgets, marveling at how quickly she grasped their functions. Leora's confidence grew, her mind expanding with new possibilities. One day, while exploring an ancient ruin, David turned to Leora with a thoughtful expression. "What if you could leave this place? What if you could explore the stars and be free from these oppressive traditions?" Leora's breath caught in her throat. The idea was both exhilarating and terrifying. Leave? But how? "With me," David replied simply. "You have the strength and the will to defy your society's constraints. Together we can embark on a journey beyond the boundaries of this world. You can be free, Leora." The idea took root in her mind, growing with each passing day. Leora began to see herself not as an outcast, but as a person with agency, capable of shaping her own destiny. The bond between her and David grew stronger, fueled by mutual respect and a shared desire for freedom and discovery. As they sat beneath the star-studded sky, David took Leora's hand in his. "Are you ready to embrace your true self and challenge the norms of both our worlds?" Leora looked into his eyes, filled with determination and hope. "Yes, I am." And so, with the rising dawn, they set out on a new path, one that would take them beyond the stars and into the unknown. Leora's journey of transformation had begun, fueled by the spark of curiosity and resilience that had brought them together. The night air was thick with tension as Leora slipped silently through the narrow streets of her home city. The once familiar pathways now felt like a maze of betrayal and sorrow. Every step she took was a step away from the life she had known, a life that had never truly accepted her. Her heart pounded with a mix of fear and exhilaration, for tonight was the night she would seize her freedom. Waiting for her at the edge of the city was the human man, whom she had come to trust and rely on. His name was Ethan, a figure of curiosity and strength who had seen in her what no one else had. As she approached, his eyes met hers with a look of determination and unwavering support. "Are you ready?" he asked, his voice a low whisper. Leora nodded, unable to find words but knowing that this was the moment she had dreamed of. Together, they moved quickly and quietly, avoiding the patrolling guards and the ever-watchful eyes of her people. The plan was simple yet daring: to reach the hidden spacecraft Ethan had prepared and escape to a world where they could be free from the oppressive norms of her society. As they neared the spacecraft, a sudden noise made them freeze. Leora's heart raced as a group of guards emerged from the shadows, their eyes scanning the area. Ethan motioned for her to stay hidden while he stepped forward, his posture calm and confident. "Who's there?" one of the guards barked, their weapons at the ready. Ethan raised his hands in a gesture of peace. "Just a traveler, passing through," he said smoothly. "I mean no harm." The guards eyed him suspiciously, but before they could question him further, a distraction orchestrated by Ethan's allies drew their attention away. With the guards momentarily distracted, Leora and Ethan seized the opportunity to slip past them and reach the spacecraft. The hatch closed behind them with a reassuring thud, and Ethan quickly initiated the launch sequence. As the engines roared to life, Leora felt a surge of hope and anticipation. They were finally leaving. The spacecraft hurtled through the vast expanse of space, leaving Leora's home planet far behind. For the first time in her life, she felt a sense of liberation, unshackled from the chains of societal expectations. Beside her, Ethan piloted the craft with practiced ease, his focus unwavering. Their journey took them to distant worlds and alien landscapes, each more wondrous than the last. On the lush green planet of Arelon, they encountered a civilization that valued wisdom and knowledge above all else. Here, Leora's intelligence was celebrated, and she found herself immersed in learning and discovery. In the bustling spaceport city of Zenthara, they faced dangers and challenges that tested their bond and resilience. From navigating treacherous marketplaces filled with shady traders to evading bounty hunters sent by Leora's people, every moment was a test of their determination and trust in each other. One night, as they camped under the stars on a barren desert planet, Leora and Ethan shared stories of their pasts. Leora spoke of her struggles and the pain of being ostracized, while Ethan recounted his own journey of discovery and the mission that had led him to her planet. "You've come a long way," Leora Ethan said, his eyes reflecting the starlight. "You're stronger than you realize." Leora smiled, feeling a warmth in her chest that she had not felt in years. "And it's because of you," she replied softly. "You saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself." As their journey continued, Leora's transformation became more evident. The once timid and uncertain outcast blossomed into a confident and strong individual. Her intelligence and strength began to shine, earning her respect and admiration from those they encountered. On the war-torn planet of Darvok, they found themselves caught in the middle of a conflict between two warring factions. Leora's quick thinking and strategic mind proved invaluable as she devised a plan to broker peace and end the fighting. Her actions saved countless lives and brought hope to a planet ravaged by war. In the crystalline cities of the Glacian system, Leora and Ethan met scholars and inventors who were fascinated by Leora's insights and ideas. She shared her knowledge and learned from them in return, forging alliances and friendships that would prove crucial in their future endeavors. Every challenge they faced, every obstacle they overcame, added to Leora's growth. She was no longer the outcast defined by the false belief of her infertility. She was a leader, a thinker, a force to be reckoned with. Her bond with Ethan deepened, their partnership becoming a beacon of hope and possibility. As they prepared to return to Leora's home planet, ready to challenge the oppressive norms and fight for change, Leora looked at Ethan with gratitude and determination. "We're going back to change everything," she said, her voice filled with resolve. Ethan nodded, his eyes reflecting the same determination. "Together," he said, "we can change the world." Their spacecraft set a course for Leora's home planet, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of two souls united by a bond that transcended the boundaries of their worlds. The journey was far from over, but Leora knew that with Ethan by her side, there was nothing they couldn't achieve. Leora's heart raced as their ship cut through the dense atmosphere of her home planet, Solaris. The oppressive heat outside mirrored the tension within her. Beside her, the human who had given her strength, John, a man of resolve and intellect piloted with deft hands, his focus unwavering. The familiarity of Solaris's landscape, with its vast crimson deserts and towering crystal formations, stirred a storm of emotions within her. This was the world that had rejected her, yet it was also the place she now aimed to transform. The ship landed in a remote area far from the capital, their arrival undetected by the authorities. Leora and John stepped onto the sandy terrain, the air thick with anticipation. They were not alone following their journey. They had garnered allies from various planets, individuals who had been touched by their story and inspired by their courage. Among them were Makara, a fierce warrior from the desert planet Theron, and Talia, a tech genius from the floating cities of Neptara. These allies had pledged their support, ready to stand by Leora in her fight for justice. "We need to be strategic," John said, his voice calm but firm. "Our first step is to reach the underground network of dissidents here on Solaris. They've been waiting for someone like you, Leora." Leora nodded, her resolve hardening. "Let's go," she said, her voice carrying the weight of her determination. They moved swiftly, blending into the shadows, navigating through secret paths known only to those who lived on the fringes of society. The underground network was hidden beneath the ruins of an ancient city, a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers where the oppressed gathered in secrecy. As Leora and her companions entered the main chamber, they were met with wary eyes and hushed whispers. At the center of the room stood Rian, the leader of the dissidents, a stern woman with a commanding presence and a reputation for unyielding defiance. Leora Rian greeted, her voice echoing through the chamber. "We've heard of your journey. You have our support, but know that this fight will not be easy." "I'm ready," Leora replied, meeting Rian's gaze with unwavering determination. "We all are." The following days were a blur of planning and preparation. Leora and her allies worked tirelessly, coordinating with the dissidents to form a cohesive strategy. They knew that the heart of the societal oppression lay in the capital, where the Council of Elders, the ruling body, upheld and enforced the archaic laws. On the day of the planned uprising, the capital was abuzz with activity, unaware of the storm about to hit. Leora and her allies, now a unified force, moved with precision. The first target was the communication center, a fortified building that controlled all media and information dissemination on Solaris. Disabling it was crucial to prevent the council from spreading propaganda and inciting fear. John led the tech team, including Talia, to infiltrate the building. Meanwhile, Leora and Makara spearheaded the direct assault, engaging the guards with skill and ferocity. The clash was intense, the air filled with the sound of blaster fire and the shouts of combatants. Leora fought with a purpose, her movements fueled by years of pent-up frustration and the desire for change. As the communication center fell, the rest of the city erupted in chaos. The dissidents, emboldened by the success, launched coordinated strikes against key targets, including the council's headquarters. Leora, leading the charge, confronted the council's guards with unrelenting determination. In the grand hall of the council, Leora faced the elders, a group of stern-faced individuals clinging to their power. "This ends now," she declared, her voice echoing through the chamber. "Your oppression, your lies, it all ends today." The elders, taken aback by her audacity, attempted to quell the rebellion through threats and force. But the people of Solaris, witnessing Leora's courage, began to rally behind her. The hall filled with voices chanting her name, a powerful chorus of defiance and hope. The battle raged on, but the tide had turned irrevocably. Leora's forces, bolstered by the growing support of the populace, overwhelmed the council's defenses. The elders were captured, and their oppressive regime dismantled piece by piece. In the aftermath, Leora stood before the people of Solaris, her heart swelling with a mix of exhaustion and triumph. "We have taken the first step," she proclaimed, her voice carrying the promise of a new era. "Together, we will build a society where every individual, regardless of gender or status, is valued and free." The crowd erupted in cheers, the sound of their jubilation reverberating through the capital. Leora felt a sense of belonging she had never known before, her years of isolation and pain giving way to hope and unity. In the days that followed, Leora worked tirelessly to rebuild her world. She reached out to her family, seeking reconciliation and understanding. Her parents, once bound by fear and tradition, now saw the strength and love in their daughter. Through tearful conversations and heartfelt apologies, they began to mend their fractured relationship. Leora's society started to evolve, with new laws granting rights and freedoms to women and eliminating the stigma against infertility. The people, inspired by Leora's journey, embraced the changes, eager to forge a better future. With the oppressive regime dismantled and societal norms shifting, Leora and John looked toward the horizon, their bond stronger than ever. They continued their journey, exploring new planets and cultures, always seeking to learn and grow. Their adventures became legendary, tales of courage and resilience that spread across the galaxy. Leora's story became a beacon of hope and empowerment for others. Her transformation from an outcast to a leader symbolized the power of challenging societal norms and the potential within every individual to create change. As Leora and John stood on the deck of their ship, gazing at the stars, they knew their journey was far from over. The galaxy was vast, filled with endless possibilities and new challenges. But they were ready, united by their love and their shared vision of a future where every being could live freely and fully. "We've come a long way," John said, his hand intertwined with Leora's. "And we have so much further to go," Leora replied, her eyes sparkling with determination and hope. Together, they sailed into the unknown, their hearts filled with the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Leora stood at the threshold of her childhood home, the air thick with memories and the scent of blooming Silvaris flowers. Her heart pounded as she hesitated, recalling the last time she had been here a frightened girl, ostracized and condemned for defying societal norms. Now, she returned as a woman transformed, her spirit unbroken, her resolve steeled by the journey she had undertaken. Her family, seated around the modest hearth, looked up in stunned silence as she entered. Her mother, eyes wide with a mix of shock and shame, was the first to rise. The years had etched lines of worry and regret into her face, a stark contrast to the cold indifference she once displayed. "Leora," her mother whispered, voice trembling. "We thought we'd lost you." Leora felt a surge of conflicting emotions: anger, longing, compassion. She stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "You did lose me, but not in the way you think. I lost myself in trying to conform to a society that never accepted me for who I am. But I have found my way back, not to seek approval, but to reclaim my place and to change what is wrong." Her father's stern facade crumbled, revealing a depth of sorrow he had kept hidden. "We were wrong, Leora. We let fear and tradition blind us to your worth." The reunion was bittersweet, each family member grappling with their guilt and the pain of lost time. Yet, amid the tears and apologies, there was a seed of hope. Leora's return was not just a personal victory but a catalyst for change within her family. They began to understand the true meaning of acceptance and love, setting the stage for broader societal transformation. The changes within Leora's family were a microcosm of the larger revolution sweeping across their world. The movement she and the human man had ignited spread like wildfire, challenging deep-seated prejudices and dismantling oppressive traditions. Leora stood on the grand steps of the council hall, a place she had once feared, now a platform for her voice. She addressed the gathered crowd, her words echoing with passion and conviction. "For too long, we have let fear govern our lives, letting outdated traditions dictate our worth. It is time to break these chains, to embrace a future where every individual, regardless of gender or status, is valued and free. The crowd erupted in applause, a chorus of unity and hope. Leora's eyes met those of the human man standing beside her, his presence a constant source of strength. Together they had traversed countless worlds, faced unimaginable dangers, and discovered the boundless potential within themselves and each other. Years passed, and Leora's story became a beacon of hope and empowerment. Her journey from ostracism to leadership inspired countless others to challenge societal norms and embrace their true selves. Monuments were erected in her honor, not just to commemorate her achievements, but to remind future generations of the power of resilience and the importance of standing against injustice. Leora and the human man continued their travels, exploring the far reaches of the galaxy. Their adventures were filled with new discoveries and the forging of alliances that strengthened the bond between their species. They witnessed the birth of a new era, one where cooperation and mutual respect flourished. On a tranquil evening, under the twin moons of a distant world, Leora sat beside the human man, their hands intertwined. They gazed at the star-studded sky, a tapestry of endless possibilities. "We've come so far," she said softly, her voice filled with wonder. "And there is still so much more to see," he replied, his eyes reflecting the same awe. Leora smiled, feeling a profound sense of peace. Her journey had been arduous, marked by pain and struggle, but it had also been a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the transformative power of love and acceptance. As they sat together, the future stretched out before them, vast and uncharted. It was a future they would face together, hand in hand, their legacy a testament to the courage to dream and the power to change. In the end, Leora's story was not just about breaking free from societal constraints, but about the enduring strength of the human and alien spirit. It was a story of love, resilience, and the boundless potential that lies within us all when we dare to challenge the limitations placed upon us and embrace our true selves.